Take your time. Don't live too fast. Troubles will come. They won't last, but they knock you on your jackass. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? Hang on, let me get ready. I'm not even ready to go. The pie is done. I am not ready. I'm singing, still singing Simple Man. Simple. Be a simple kind of hornet. Gotta be a hornet. So I left for two minutes. I was gone for 2 days. 2 days I had to work in the yard. Oh man, we got a lot of stuff done this weekend. A whole bunch of things were growing on this weekend. And putting fences up and curing the soil and getting ready. And I came back. I don't know who I left in charge, but I came back, and now apparently we got more problems. We have more problems. Hang on a second. Hang on. Let me get this over here. Click this. Flip this. Let me see. I don't even see. I got to bring all my comments in. What the heck is going on this morning? I didn't do nothing. You say you can't share? I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything this weekend. I was offline all weekend. I was working all weekend. I did not post anything to get me thrown in any kind of prisons. And it's just not working this morning. So I'm a simple kind of person. I don't believe in simple and stupidity. I do want to talk about a few things today. I think I want to hit this whole fire Fauci thing, and I don't think we're really focused how we should be focused. I don't think it's really gonna matter if you fire the Fauci, but you keep the file system. It's not gonna matter a whole lot. Good morning, everyone. I want to talk about that for a minute. I need to talk about the murder hornets. I was gone for not 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Came back. We got the next thing that's supposed to be scaring the hell out of us. Murder hornets. Murder hornets. I've been in the garden all weekend. I have not seen one murder hornet anywhere. I've not seen any. And to be honest with you, if I did see any, I have not seen one murder hornet. Maybe I'm asking myself that question. If I saw a murder hornet, would I tell on the murder hornet? I don't think I would. You may not like this answer, but I don't think I would. I don't think I'd tell on the murder hornet. I don't think that the murder hornet is my problem. To be honest with you, hang on, let me bring in the YouTube comments and the Facebook comments. It's not my problem. I don't blame nature. A lot of people out there blaming nature for everything. It seems that every problem that comes along, it's got to be old nature, old dirty old nature, old Mother Nature, the ecosystem, where your body's not working, we got something to cure you with, and then they're gonna have a cure for the murder hornet. Ain't nothing wrong with the murder hornet. The hornet is doing what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's a such thing as a murder hornet. I think they made all that up. All right, good morning, Citizen Deb. I got you over here. And let me see what's happening on Facebook. I know what's up, but something funky's going on because that's just how it goes on. We ain't gonna talk about nothing. Y'all, we ain't gonna talk about Mark Zuckerberg. We ain't gonna talk about y'all. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm gonna talk about the murder hornets. I want to talk about this idea that we're always gonna blame nature. I have to go back and check my page. Did they delete my channel? They'll do that. These people will do that. No, it's still up. It's right there. They didn't get me yet. You're not giving me today. I'm not going to say anything bad. All right, there we go. Got Facebook going. Okay, I can see the comments here. I can't see them here. So it's something weird going on. Good morning. Are those bees naturally occurring? Ella Donnie, every bee is naturally occurring. Every last one. People are upset at them, and I want to look at the news because I was out all weekend, Ella, and I didn't get attacked. They didn't try to kill me and murderize me, so I'm not really worried about it. I'll say this, though. Every bee on the planet is natural. Every hornet is natural. Every poison ivy is natural. All the ticks are natural. The humans, not so much. Humans, not so much. The other things fit within the ecosystems, and they modify ecosystems as they find new ecosystems. The humans seem like everywhere they go, they just want to burn up the Garden of Eden. All right. So I can see the comments over here. I don't see them over there. Let me try to do a refresh. How y'all? Did y'all have a good weekend this weekend? What y'all growing on? Y'all out there in nature, y'all sitting in the house, still waiting for a cure. Yeah, you keep waiting on these people. They're going to cure the murder hornets. They're going to cure you. They're going to have a whole bunch of stuff. Somebody did a great meme this weekend. I just saw this morning. No, it's not. It's not trying to let me bring in the comments from Facebook. I don't know what's going on. I can try to reset some stuff here. Give me a second. I'm a simple person. I just don't believe in overly complex things. I think ecosystems work the way they're supposed to. Let me try to do this. I'm gonna remove this and bring this back, and we'll see if that changes things. Right? No, it's not that. It's right here. This one. Let's see if that'll fix it. I gotta log in. So yeah, Ella, everything is naturally occurring. Everything is natural, I'm on the side of. Everything that's not natural, I'm not on the side of. Hang on a second, I gotta log in. Maybe they made a change this weekend. I don't know if the deep state trying to get me. I don't have an issue with the deep state. Like I said, the deep state doing what the deep space supposed to do. The deep state is deep because it's supposed to be deep, and if it was on the surface, it wouldn't be the deep state. We consent to it, we agree with it, we appreciate it, we like it, we subscribe to it. We are a part of every single problem, and then we're raised to point the fingers at everything else. And I guess I don't believe in it. Password right, and see what we can do with that. What else happened this weekend? What else am I supposed to be worried about? What else should worry a simple person, a simple human? Oh, I gotta do this again. Oh, I hate doing this part. I gotta do the login code, go through these steps, and yeah. Hang on. Do it like this, do this, turn this on, flip this. This makes my nose itchy. All right, now log back in. I have to say the digits in my head because you think, well, people can probably read your thoughts. And I didn't want to hit save on that. That's okay. That's how you remember things, I think, when you get a little older. You make little ditties. Well, I guess the same way when you're in school. I guess it's the same way when you're in school. You get into school, you get little ditties for stuff in the alphabet. What you're planting this weekend? Oh, Jasmine, a whole bunch. I had to mostly get the fence up because the fox were around, the deer were around. I had to go meet a bunch of neighbors, but I did get some potatoes in the ground. I got some asparagus in the ground. I got some peas in the ground. I got some elephant ears in the ground. I got some raspberry in the ground. I got a bunch of stuff in the ground. Mostly for me, though, is preparing the soil. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't know what's going on, people. I tried to Facebook is here, but apparently the commentary is not showing. So we're going to have to do it the best we can. If you want your comments to appear, you're probably going to have to shift on over to YouTube because I don't know what's going on. I hit refresh, I re-log back in, but it's not appearing. So Citizen Deb, you got the comment. Howdy. I'll read the comments from over here. Let me shift the music and get to going. All right, audio. Sound team, change the background. There we go. So I went away for 2 days. I went away for 2 days to do some growing. I avoided Facebook best that I could. It kind of worked out. I only logged in maybe twice. I came back and now we got murder hornets. We came back and we got murder hornets. And so now I guess that's the next thing. I guess people are not scared of the cuckoo virus no more. So now we got murder hornets. So now this is the next thing for people to be upset with and blame nature for. It's never the monkeys. It's never the systems. It's never the unnatural things. It's never the competition-based systems. It's never that. Every problem is nature. Like, oh, nature doing something again. We got to go stop nature. War of nature. Meanwhile, I think that things work how they're supposed to. Nature is sustainable. It's been sustainable for billions of years. It's going to keep sustaining after us. We break things and we blame nature. I have no issue with the murder hornets. I don't. Well, no. Okay, hang on. No, that's not true. No, because when I did a search for murder hornet, I got a couple hornets. There is a murder hornet I got an issue with. There is a murder hornet, and it's not biological. It's not made in nature. It's not sustainable. It's not just clearing things out so we can have some babies and live and survive in a conflict-based system. There's a hornet right there. There's a murder hornet. That's a murder hornet that shouldn't exist. Not outside of air shows. You have them in air shows. They're fun to watch the airplane fly around, dropping bombs on little kids' heads. Not so much. No, there is. And this word murder, I find that to be an interesting term, murder. Because what really is, I'm gonna have to shrink this unless this works eventually, because I don't think these words get in my way. It's a human word, right? The only thing that murders for sport that I know of is humanity. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I have a backup way to show comments. I guess I can do it that way. The only thing I know that murders for sport is humanity. Nothing else murders for sport. Just us, just humans. So this idea that we take and what is it called? Anthropomorphizing. Are you taking, you anthropomorphize your words on nature, and it's always somebody bad in nature, and it's never us. Let me do this. I think what I will do is I will show comments temporarily in a backup method, because my friends, they just hate YouTube. It's not, you cannot get these people on YouTube no matter what you do. They just, you ask them going over there, they, oh no, we ain't going to YouTube. I think you got to spread yourself around. Ooh, that didn't work. Oh, so we got a whole bunch of stuff not working this morning. I just did that. Oh no, there we go. There we go. It was thinking about it. There we go. I'll put it up here and we'll go like this. And there we go. Yeah, it's like we always blame nature. I'm always against that idea. I don't think we can anthropomorphize monster on nature. I don't think there are any monsters in nature. I think the only monsters that exist are us. Did it disappear again? I don't know what's going on this morning. Everything in nature is sustainable. Nature has predators and us not so much. We kill things for sport. We kill things for bank accounts. Nature only has a stomach. So I don't think there are any monsters in nature. We're the only monsters on earth. We're supposed to be stewards. We decided we don't like that project. We told God where he can go. Told Christ we're not going to listen. We told Buddha and Shiva and all the rest of them that we just know better than what they do. So hell no, we ain't going to be stewards. We're going to keep making Mike Tyson's. Did y'all see the Mike Tyson video? Mike Tyson. He's still, you know what? Let me see. I'll show it to you. That brother's, you know what? Not even that is working. Oh, you know what? I see what's happening. Hang on. No, maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know what's going on. Something's really funky going on Facebook this morning. But I got a boxing video of him in his, how old is he now? How old is this Tyson? I'm not sure this thing gonna work at all. What's the ear, Jasmine? Is it, what's the problem? Y'all can't hear me? Hang on, let me go down. There's a video of Mike Tyson beating up the this bag. I'm not even sure if it's going to show. Oh, you know what? See right here, look at this. It's Mike Tyson beating the hell out of that bag right there. Oh, he's a monster. He's a monster. Yeah, he is, but we made him. And he's probably in his 50s. He's still beating the hell out of that bag like he's a beast. He's a beast and a monster. And for me, I saw the video. It's funny, another Shula King video. I made a lot of jokes, funny stuff, funny man, funny stuff. But I look at that and I just think about poor kids I grew up with. And I recognize the passion. I recognize the passion. I recognize the passion. I recognize the passion. You look at, well, how can Mike Tyson continue on at his age? He could still probably beat the hell out of anybody he steps in the ring with at that age, showing so much passion and speed. Poverty will do that to you. When you were born in a conflict-based system, you barely got enough food, impoverished conditions. You have a model that makes impoverished people as a core aspect of the Ponzi pyramid scheme that we have to keep somebody on the bottom. It's going to give you a lifelong passion. You will have a lifelong passion to beat the hell out of bags and people too. Mike Tyson is not a creation. He is literally a manufactured manifestation of our consent and our ignorance. So I'm not worried about the Hornet. We're making monsters of children, right? Mike Tyson could have been Nikola Tesla. That passion to beat the hell out of bags and faces, those warrior genes didn't have to get turned on. They could have been turned on to engineering and science and mathematics or anything. He'd have been a big as hell scientist, but he still would have been one. Maybe he'd have that tattoo on his face now. Maybe he wouldn't. But we make these things. We're the only monsters. We make monsters. We manufacture the monsters. I'm worried about the Hornet that we made at the top. I'm not worried about the Hornet in the middle. The Hornet right there is just trying to survive. It's just a survival thing. The poor people, not so much. We still have poor people on the planet. We know the greatest crime in humanity is poverty. There is nothing kills more on this planet other than what malaria is number one, poverty is number two, right? That's the war. We literally start a war with children at birth. And I can't see how that's a good idea. I can't see how I need to be scared and murder. And we're making Bloods and Crips out of children. These suit shikes, yes they do, Norma, and they're supposed to. I'm sorry, I want to keep bees, Norma, but they're supposed to. If you get down with bees, you get up with stings. I think was one of them famous sayings, Norma. If you're gonna have a beehive, you got to be prepared to be stung, right? And things eat the honeybees. The honeybees would probably be fine if we left them alone. The honeybees got a problem. The honeybees got monsters after them, but it is not the hornet. It is not the giant hornet. The number one killer of honeybees is subsidized programs from your government. Okay, subsidized products that they sell from their criminal friends on Wall Street. So I love the bees, and the bees are facing pandemics, but the pandemic the bee is facing is not the hornet. The hornet is not a pandemic. A pandemic with your bee is Monsanto, pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, people cutting their grass underneath 7 inches. Don't tell me you're worried about the honeybee and you own a lawnmower. You ain't worried about the honeybee. Stop it. Stop it. They always play. Give us a low-level priority to be scared of and don't worry about the higher ones. Speaking of the cuckoo virus, I'm supposed to be worried about something that's like number 200 down on the list of pandemics, and we got cancer and cardiovascular disease close to the top. I'm not worried about what's on the news. The news is all a lie. All a lie. It is in support of the people who claim to own lands. Speaking of that, I got to show you a quote. Who gave me this one? Montez gave me this one. Oh, it was deep. Hang on. Where's Montez? Well, it wasn't Montez quote, but the brother then found something that was real deep. Oh, we're not gonna touch that one yet. Oh yeah. Oh, we had some Patriot stuff, some great stuff this weekend. There you go. Here's a quote. Well, the exact quote is a longer bit longer. Hang on, let me click on it down here. The first man who, having enclosed a piece of ground, bethought to himself, "This is mine," and found simple people, or people simple enough to believe him. Land that everybody needs to live and survive. Land that they would give to you if they gave two damns about you, but they don't. Here's the whole quote right here. Montez found this. Who said this one? Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He's the one who said it. Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, the first man who, having enclosed a piece of ground, bethought to himself, saying, "This is mine," and found people simple enough to believe him, was the real founder of civil society. Civil society, think about that. He founded your uncivil society, which is why I don't call it civil society. I call it uncivil. He was a founder of your civil society. Why? Because he claimed to own something he didn't, and he found people stupid and ignorant enough to go along and believe his borders and that they are owned by him, and he owns the land, and they pay dues and birth debt penalties to him from the very beginning, which is where you get your Mike Tysons and their passion from. From how many crimes, wars, and murders, I can't even read it so far. From how many horrors and misfortunes might not anyone have saved mankind? by pulling up the stakes or filling up the ditch and crying to his fellows. Beware of listening to this impostor. You are undone if you once forget that the fruits of the earth belong to us all, and the earth itself to nobody. The whole middle portion of that does not make sense to me, partially because I can't see it. My eyes are bad. And I wasn't on the laptop this weekend. I was outside, so my eyes shouldn't be this jacked up. But it's just how we go. I was a programmer from birth. I can barely read this daggone screen. But the end portion is what I want to take at the beginning and the end. That's what I want to take. The middle sounds like neuroscience and psychopathy and warrior genes. We know what happens to people when you don't give them land and food. They become Mike Tysons and get passions for beating the hell out of other people. Okay, we making that out of children is bad. But the end piece, right? We are an ecosystem. Right? This belongs to us all. None of it belongs to you. We are here to share. And if we don't share, we make more monsters, and eventually we all go extinct, which is part of why I find a lot of this to be rather humorous. Like, why are you laughing all the time? Well, yeah, I'm kind of on nature's side. Like, I appreciate y'all, but to be honest with you, like, we're just like a mid-tier, like a step in evolution or whatever this is that's mixed with some other DNA. But I'm not really worried about man. Man will go the way man's supposed to go. And I'm not sure man's supposed to be here. When you take a child that's born with goo-goo and gagas and hope in his eye, and you make it into a Mike Tyson, teach it how to punch fast to survive, to get food because it doesn't own any land, right? Yeah, I'm kind of on nature's side. We're kind of supposed to go extinct. All right. Every day there's a funky. Yeah, there is a funky every day on the internet. Normal when you I logged in this morning just to try to catch up, see where my friends were, just see what's going on. And it's the same drama. It's the same drama. Ooh, a decolonizer. That would be a great idea, Jeannie. Decolonize the land that was colonized because nobody actually owns the land. It belongs to ecosystems, bees and hornets and toads and moles, and it all works together in a perfect harmony until we decide something is evil, so we go destroy it because we convince a lot of stupid people simply enough to believe that this thing is evil or I own the land. Yeah, we might have to talk about viruses a little bit. It looks like they'll let you post it. I don't see it being blocked. I see Beaufort talking about it. It's just viruses are just information. I tell you what, it blew me away this weekend. My son said that to me. I was like, ooh, it felt good. And he said, well, he wants to be a programmer like his pop. And well, he's already a programmer like his pop. There's no such thing as waiting till you start out, making money doing it. That brother's been programming a long time. He said, yeah, Dad, viruses are just information. I was like, ooh. Do you know the depth of what you said? And he never worked in IT. But they're just information. Your body gets uploads all the time. The question is whether or not you're going to take the upload. Are you simple enough to believe that you need to make a war on your upload? It's just functionality. Viruses kill cancer. They target cells. Your body learns how to use it. And the ones that it likes, it'll keep around and it'll turn them on when it needs to. It'll turn off the white blood cells, memory T cells, send that virus out there to go kill something for it so you stay healthy. It's just a functionality. It's just literally a function. And then the body has the memory T cells, make the white blood cells to go out there and call that virus back after the job is done. And that's the job, the viruses that your body likes, the code, the procedures and the functions that are useful. The ones that are just phenomenal, your body takes in the DNA. You know that you are 2% viral DNA, that your body over millions of years decided which viruses are just so prolifically profound and health generating that it made a part of you. That's part of why I was eating my pizza this weekend, and I was eating my pizza this weekend, and I saw a funny picture. Hang on. This is weird. I don't know what's going on with this thing. This thing is jacked up. Something ain't working right. I was, let me try to redo this again. I was eating my pizza this weekend. I was working in the garden, and I took a picture because I thought it would probably enlighten a few people. I was hoping, wasn't sure. Not sure. You never know what to help people. Here we go right here. Let me see. See if I can show you, see if this one wants to act right. I don't know why this thing is jacked up today. Right here. That's right here. This is I was eating my pizza and I took a picture and I decided I'd make a meme out of it. When I was done eating lunch, and I was looking at the pretty flowers while I was eating my lunch, and I took a picture and I sent it on to people. Why? Well, I think what was the caption on this? I think I said, yeah, I decided that I'd wash my hands after lunch to make sure I don't get my tools dirty. And while that disgusts some of you, there's a lot of encoding information on my fingers. You see all that? My fingers are not that color. See my finger? Oh, right there. That's the color they're supposed to be. That's the color they are when they got a lot of information on it. A lot of bacteria, a lot of microbes, a lot of viruses, a lot of things with a lot of information that my body takes in. So not only was I nourishing my body eating the pizza, I also was nourishing my DNA by taking in more data. You are a computer, you are software. We are in a simulation. The more functions your body has, the more functionality your body will have. And this is actually why Bill Gates is involved in viruses. If you ever worked in IT, you know what an upload is. You got incremental software updates and you got emergency software updates. It's just information, people. It's all it is. Don't be scared of nature. You're a part of nature. Don't be scared of the Hornets. Be scared of the imaginary things that are invented that get people killed. Makes sense. Since we are in a giant Jumanji game lately. We are in a giant Jumanji game, Jeannie, but people don't know how to play. They're not playing the game. They don't know what side they're on. Ooh, there's something else I want to show you. They don't know. Oh, there's another one. Here we go. Now I'm not going to show you mosquitoes. I don't know why the mosquitoes are out. I was out, Jeannie, mosquitoes out in your area. I was out late. And the mosquitoes were out. I wasn't just gardening. I was putting in my surveillance cameras too. Why? Because it's necessary. I got fox and deer and everything else around. But a mosquito landed on me. And this is a little early for mosquitoes. And usually they're too young and immature. They don't want to bite you. But I guess, I don't know, maybe because the Americans are trapped in their houses. They still... They still believe in nations and governments and corporations that are poisoning you and poisoning your environment are coming to save you. So maybe they're waiting for the Americans to come out the house. I gotta show you some inspiration. What is your job? Here we go. This post was inspired by one of the protests this weekend, which, by the way, it's been 3 weeks plus that you guys saw them people outside protesting. Y'all saw that? Did you see that? And how long is the incubation period for the cuckoo virus? Yeah, and the people didn't have any masks, no gloves. They didn't have bioweapon hazard suits. My son was out jogging. He liked to jog. He said he was out. I said, Dad, I was out jogging. I saw people in hazmat suits. I said, just the Americans, son. Let the Americans have their drama. Every now and then in the American world, they get something interesting that they get to talk about, something really stupid they get to do. And that's what they're all doing. But let me show you this. Would you rather lose your job or your soul? I got to show you a quick talk by this brother. It was a deep talk. They were out protesting. And 2 to 3 weeks later, we don't have piles of people nowhere. So maybe you're starting to realize you're being played. But here was a protest.
What are you going to do? Push her
This is awful. I didn't think it would end like this. It was such a good day. It really was.
So let me show you what I'm doing.
Joshua Coleman reporting.
I clicked on it just let me show you what I'm saying. I'm gonna give you a different view. Looked like it was a protest out there. I look at things, I try to pull out something a little deeper than what's being talked about. And yeah, he's gonna say some Trump stuff in here. So I guess if you think that Trump is the problem with the planet, maybe you should just click off now. I prefer if you stick around, try to educate yourself. I usually tune out when people start talking about nations and presidents. They don't actually have any power. They don't really make any decisions. They're your entertainment portion of this episode of Earth. But I found it interesting. You got people out here protesting. I don't even know what they're protesting, to be honest with you. I didn't even pay attention. I'm just looking at a group of people out there with baby carriages, some people in wheelchairs, peacefully. The people don't have guns. They don't have swords. They don't have protective equipment. They don't have helmets. Just a bunch of peaceful people going outside protesting. They're going to their government to bring a protest of something. They're going to their government. Let's see if we get a picture. Look at that. They even got tight jeans on. Look at this. They just going to their government to raise awareness to something. Right? And so what I see initially when I look at this picture, a problem I have with it. All right, let me stop. That's a wrong picture. Let me move that picture. The problem I have with it is that I see a bunch of peaceful people out with children and handicapped people and people with tight pants just trying to show their booty cheeks and the American flag. And you got stormtroopers out here. I want this brother to speak, and then I'm going to tell you something that I thought that I'm not going to play the whole thing. But I have a problem. Our problems are systemic. Our problems are at the model. They're never with the side effect bullshizzle drama that people like to talk about. Let's listen to this man speak. He's a Marine.
This is awful. I didn't think it would end like this. It was such a good day. It really was. Joshua Coleman reporting from the Sacramento Capitol, where freedom is officially over. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Joshua Coleman reporting from China. You guys.
He said he's reporting from America, reporting from China. It's kind of hard to hear. He said where freedom is officially over. Oh, I got a problem with that too anyway, because freedom was over a long time ago. I don't know why anybody's still yelling patriotism and nation and nonsense when we know corporations and political parties and well, not political parties, corporations, powerful families have always owned this planet. They've owned all the nations. All the nations are puppets. They're just pawns in a game of chess. Now, can a pawn take down a king or a queen? Yes, it sure can. But if you were going to play a game of chess, would you want equal players? Or would you take your pawns and all pawns to go up against some kings and queens? You're not going to win. Nations are just pawns. Freedom died a long time ago. But the neat thing is we live in a time where more people are starting to see it. So no, freedom didn't just die. Freedom died the minute somebody found a plot of land, said, this is mine, and we had people simple enough to agree with it.
And a couple of you guys stood down, so the question is, are you going to stand down? In the face of tyranny, in the face of freedom, are you going to sit there in your riot gear against peaceful protesters? Or are you going to say, you know what? It's time to stand up for my country. Because I took an oath of office and it said I will defend all enemies, foreign and domestic. Yeah. You know, you might lose your job, but I'd rather lose my job than lose my soul.
I'd rather lose my job than lose my soul. I'm just saying deeper things. Now, you think we could be talking about the police state? You think we could be talking about the military war state? You think we could be talking about the medical state? You think we could be talking about the chemical pesticide state? But I think we're talking about all of them. Would you rather lose your soul or lose your job? This has nothing to do with police, not from the way I see it. I mean, it is they're an aspect. They're one of the ones that have lost their damn minds, but it's us, it's not them, right? People will do horrendous things for their job. They'll throw away their oath for their job. Like, think about the Hippocratic oath, the hypocritical oath. Think about that. For a paycheck, you'll toss out your oath. You'll toss out your oath to the job, the mission statement, the purpose, the reason you went in, the passion, the same reason Mike Tyson beats up bags. But we're born with an oath. I think we have more of a soul oath. I think when you are born, you have an obligation to your species. I think you have an obligation to your neighbors. I think you have an obligation to the people on the land that you live. I will not say your nation, because I don't believe the people who killed the most people, who drew some borders around it, own you. I don't think you're ownable. I don't think that'll ever be a civil society where one group owns another. So I don't believe in nations. I certainly don't. But I believe in the message that this man is stating. Would you give up your soul for your job? Whatever you do, would you give up your soul for your job? Right? If you know that your job is in violation of key oaths, would you walk away? Or is the paycheck more important to you?
Amen.
I'd rather lose my job than lose my soul. Because what are you going to go tell your little boy or your little girl tonight? That you took a baton and you crushed somebody's skull that was a mob? Is that what a tough guy does? That's not what honor, courage, and commitment means in the Marine Corps. So the question is, do you say, you know, we always have in the military, we have what's a lawful order? And you got to check your nutsack when you're giving an order, and you got to say, is this a lawful order or is this a bullshit order? And when something's a bullshit order and it doesn't pass the sniff test, that's when you say sergeant, that's when you say colonel, that's when you say general, that's when you say governor. I'm not doing that. I didn't sign up for that.
At what point do men become men and women become men and we stop being cowards? At what point? At what point? So from the way my mind works is that, so at the model level, we've made cowards of passionate people. We've made people who are willing to put on protective gear. My God, they got knee pads on. They got knee pads. Oh my gosh. So at what point do you show up and it's a picnic outside and people got barbecues and grills and American flags and tight jeans and signs for freedom and love and democracy and liberty? At what point do you think that you're overdressed for the occasion? At what point? See, I would never even went out. I'd have lost my job before we even got out on the street. I'd have got there like, oh, okay, we got to come here. Some people in front of the Capitol. We got work to do. Okay, let's do the work. And as soon as I got there, I say, well, wait a minute. I don't see nobody outside dressed like us. I'm looking outside and I see kids and babies and my people in my land, my cousins. I see the people that I got. So I like that, Jasmine. So I see a bunch of people who live in my land who are trying to reach out to a government supposed to be there, is supposed to listen to the people, and they just got something that they want to say. They don't have urine balloons. They don't have 2x4s. They don't have guns. They don't have equipment. They don't have helmets. Why in the world? Let me see if we can get a close-up of one of these stormtroopers. See, I have a problem with this. I have a problem because I never would have got on the field. The minute I got there and realized I was overdressed, so what them women got on Daisy Dukes? What the hell I need knee pads for? Why do I need a trauma plate in my chest and protective gear and a mask? And they got the cuckoo virus mask on too, and then the helmets. Why would I need that with some batons? I would feel stupid. I wouldn't even got dressed. I'd have shown up like, wait a minute, we're gonna go out here and protect the Capitol. I'm not supposed to be protecting the Capitol. That's not why I signed up for this. I signed up because I believe in freedom and liberty in my country folk and protecting the weak, not abusing the weak. All right. I'm not going to go out there with guns and tasers and pepper spray and people are out there with hot dogs and funnel cakes and and signs. That's just stupid, right? But then again, I'm like a different, ooh, y'all, yeah, I'm kind of different. I'm not going to say it's the nutsack. I'm not going to, he said nutsack. I'm not going to say nutsack. I'm just going to say being human. You don't have to be, you don't have to have a nutsack to not be a coward. You could just have common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would look at that. I wouldn't even got dressed. And if I did get dressed and I got out there, if I don't know, 24, my frontal lobe weren't developed, and you actually got me to put on heavy fighting protective stormtrooper gear to go out there and deal with peaceful people and abuse the weak. Once I got out there, I'd have felt bad as hell. Did y'all listen to this whole speech? We might have to listen to the whole thing. I would have felt bad as hell because this is a supposedly patriot, right? He's trying to tell you that, wait, man, at a certain point in time, what is your soul worth, right? At a certain point in time, see, the governor, and I don't blame the governor. The governor is going to do what the governor can do. The governor will push as long as you are pushable. Right, it's what a government does. Their job is to gain power, and the only way they gain power is by pushing the people. It is literally their job to push you as far as your consent will allow you to be pushed. And I think we all have to push back. I think these people who just showed up to push back, they're showing up and they're pushing back and saying, hey, this is getting too far. We got to do something else. And y'all know me, I don't agree with what is this called? A lockdown. I don't agree with a lockdown. I don't think people own you. I don't think they own your land. I don't think they can lock you down. That there's no stipulation for that in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. natural law, let alone any religious laws. Now, they don't get to do that to you. Common sense says that. However, I don't agree with cheering and fighting to get back into forced labor either. I think that's stupid too. I think ending the stormtrooper lockdown is important, right? And it doesn't apply to police. It applies to the medical industry. We have a for-profit by force medical system as well. They don't have badges and pepper spray and knee pads and all this heavy equipment to show how cowardly they are dealing with people that have on Daisy Dukes and t-shirts. But they sure got equipment. They got those robes, the white robes, and they got their credentials and badges, but it's still by force. Right? This is no different than the actual medical system, right? Because it's still by force. Because these people back them up. It's all one and the same. It's somebody claiming to own the land you live on and own you and use you, do anything to you that they feel they can because you consent, and they got a whole army full of dragoons that consent as well. I was looking at the Hippocratic Oath this morning, right? You know, there's a line in the Hippocratic Oath that says, am I saying that right? Hippocratic Oath? It says, do no harm. And it says to never practice medicine and experiment on people who do not consent. That's right in the Hippocratic Oath. But we do that by force. We've been doing that by force to children, to adults, and now we want to do it to adults. If people don't consent, you're not supposed to use your medical religion on them. That's kind of where I'm at this morning. You know, it's more of a religion than anything else. You have a faith in your synthetic drugs and your synthetic medicine, and while it may save a lot of lives, you can never force that on people. But this is how they get away with it, because we consent to their force, and they do have people who follow the orders, and you're supposed to not follow the orders when the orders make no sense. Your paycheck is not supposed to be worth more than your soul.
That's what it takes. So the question, I want each and every one of you to do a gut check right now. And there's guys over there that are lieutenants, and there's political games happening right now. People are talking about people, and somebody's looking at me with binoculars right now. Right? God bless them. Right?
Shit, there's a sniper.
Well, what I want you to get.
Hang on. You see the sniper? Look at this. There's a lot of good. He's on the top of the roof. You see he's on the top of the roof? First of all, before we even talk about the fact that there is a sniper on the top of your state capitol, White House, I assume it's a state capitol. I got to go back. Anytime, oh, dang gummit, hang on. People liking stuff and it's, it's throwing me off. I clicked on it. Who was that? Deborah Chandler threw us off. Hang on. Let me click on it again. What are
you gonna do? Push her off?
I appreciate y'all liking. Go back.
You guys left, and a couple of you guys stood down. So the question is,
Where freedom is officially over. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Joshua Coleman reporting from China.
I can watch this stuff, and I can watch a 5-minute video for 50 minutes. Because a picture is like 1,000 words, and I pull a lot of stuff out. I think my friends are the same way. This picture should never exist, right? This picture should never exist. Not that you can see the sniper on the roof. Not that the fact that, that's just going, oh my God, like, I don't even want to go there. Like, that's like Palestine, Israel levels, where you have high-powered assault rifles being, aimed at people who are in cloth, right? That's not even, that's beyond the psychopathic level I don't even want to go to. This picture, you have a state capitol that the people are supposed to own. That's supposed to be their government. Let me ask you a question. If you got a picture of a state capitol and stormtroopers in front of them with the 40 pounds of equipment to go out there and deal with the populace, what are the odds that the people actually run that white building that's behind them? What are the odds? If the people in the crowd own that government, if that government is we the people, for the people, by the people, any of that people nonsense they throw in front of you, would they need stormtroopers with heavy equipment and snipers on the roof? This has nothing to do with the state. What was this, California or Michigan? I don't know where it was. It doesn't even matter if it's America or anywhere else. That should be a hint to you that actually isn't your government. that they're not governing you, that they feel that they own you and they will do as they please. And if you don't accept it, they got people they can give massive murderous equipment to by force and push you away. See, I believe in the people. And if the people own that building and they own the people in that building and they tell the people in that building what to do, and that's their building and their taxes paid for the building, they can go burn that building down at any time they want to. The people, the starving, the poor, the homeless, they decide they need to go in there and sleep in some millionaire's office that was put in place. He can curl right up under the desk. Homeless mom, I believe she can walk right down in the basement and lay out a little area and stay. If it's her building, if she paid for it, she paid her taxes, she was born today. See, but these are the keys and the hints that you have to look for that I see all the time. That's why I don't really engage in it. I have no sides in it. It's just that we don't actually own these people. We don't own this government. We don't tell it what to do. It tells us what to do. We're not being governed. We're being ruled. These are tyrants. And later on in this video, he'll talk about Trump, and that can ruin your take on this or not. That's up to you. I just look at it and like, you know what? This is a bipartisan thing. This has nothing to do with Republicans. It's got nothing to do with Democrats. It ain't got nothing to do with Trump. It ain't got nothing to do with Obama, Clinton, Bush, and none of. They all did this. They all create militarized police. They took little children and made them into Mike Tysons. I mean, if you really think about it, the passion that it takes for him to beat that bag up, still at the age of 52 or whatever he is, they got the passion to go out there with a bunch of pretty, and that's mostly men, going out there with a bunch of pretty women in tight shorts and spandex. And you got on a mask, a helmet, equipment, pepper spray. I'm gonna let him talk a little bit because I get off. Like, if we could be here all day. As I look at the video, read the signs, and the signs are like all together and freedom. Like, the people in the crowd are literally standing up for the cowards right there, literally. But this was a bipartisan thing. The military state and the police state and breaking children and making them into passionate, violent Michael Tysons. They did it to Mike Tyson because he was born in an impoverished area. And they do it to these kids in boot camp and training. They convince them it's a good idea to get your paycheck and lose your soul.
And you gotta say, is this a lawful order or is this a bullshit order? And when something's a bullshit order and it doesn't pass the sniff test, that's when you say sergeant, that's when you say colonel, that's when you say general, that's when you say governor. I'm not doing that. I didn't sign up for that. That's what it takes. So the question, I want each and every one of you to do a gut check right now. And there's guys over there that are lieutenants, and there's political games happening right now. People are talking about people, and somebody's looking at me with binoculars right now. Right? God bless them. Right?
Shit, there's a sniper.
Well, what I want you to get is now is the time for you to decide. What side of history do you want to be on?
A sniper on the building. Tell me that you're a patriot for this. This is why I don't do nationalism. I don't do patriotism. I mean, there's localism, right? You got to stand up with the people in your land, but I don't do it because I don't think people have any idea, for the most part, who owns this land, that this is not their land. Somebody claimed that they owned it and they got a whole bunch of slaves that'll follow for it. Why in the world would you be a patriot for a government corporation looking thing that puts snipers on the building because you show up to say, hey, I got something to tell you. I got something that I need to tell you. I have something that's oppressing me. I have something that's bothering me. I'm not living free. I'm not allowed to pursue my happiness. Now, of course, I don't agree with the forced labor slavery. To me, that's weird. To me, that's weird. But they're going to the building and they're saying help. Like, if you really think about it, they're just saying help. Something's wrong. You need to help me. Something is not working out. I need your help, government. And they got a sniper on the building? Come on, man. Come on. People, come on. But you know what? This is how it goes. And how we say that whatever you deploy on other people will always come back to you. Anything that you're okay with in Yemen, anything you're okay with in Israel, anything you're okay with in Africa, anything you're okay with in Latin America, anything you're okay with in China, it'll always come back to you. You can't avoid. That's how karma does. It's like the Hornet. Don't go back to the Hornet. It's like the monster. I mean, what is that called? The murder hornet. We send our murder hornet all around the world. You know, we could just use them for entertainment. I grew up not too far in the shadow of Andrews Air Force Base. I used to watch the murder hornets all the time, but I never really thought about it being a murder hornet. So they got everybody scared of murder hornets now. We always have murder hornets, and we send them around the world for profit. Think about that. Yeah, I think these are the things that we need to think of, but a picture's 1,000 words. Let this man talk. And I tell you what, when he was talking, I was like pretending I was in the crowd. I was one of the stormtroopers that was holding a stick to beat citizens with. I mean, how long are we going to sit there and watch grown men beat up, abuse, and drag women and children through the streets? How long are we going to do that? I'm kind of getting tired of it myself, but that's just me. I'm not a violent person. I don't believe in violence. I do believe in force, but I don't believe in violence. But how long are we going to sit here and watch this nation descend into the anaerobic darkness of what it's becoming because we don't actually own it and it doesn't actually listen to us? Grievances. Thank you, Brother Jack. That's exactly what it is. I appreciate people giving me the big words that I don't have big words. I'm a simple man. People going to their government. I hate air quotes, but it's the only thing that fits in. Government. And so I have grievances. And instead of just lending an ear, like Jasmine posted a minute ago, instead of just lending an ear, they put a sniper on the roof. They hire 40 or 50 young people they've trained to abuse and beat weaker people because they have more equipment, more training, when people are just going to say, hey, I have grievances. Can you hear me out? This is the nation you want, huh? This is the land you want. This is the system you want to keep. This is the normal you want to turn back on.
I'm serious. Somebody's got to ask you that question. A bunch of people have video of everybody out here. It's going to be out in the media. And there'll be some fake news. But there's going to be some of you that hit somebody, that took Pastor Jim over there and you threw him to the ground like a piece of trash, and he was just standing there, and that's going to be on your conscience. And so, this isn't a Republican thing, it's not a Democratic thing.
It's not a Republican thing, it's not a Democratic thing. Treating people like trash is a systemic thing. That's how you know that you're not in control of your government, when they're treating you like trash. How did Maya Angelou say it? When people show you who, I don't say people, when a system shows you who they are, believe it. Believe it. I think you need to focus like that. That's where my mind is at.
Even though Governor Newsom's making it that, so President Trump doesn't get back in the White House in 2020, and we get sleepy, creepy Uncle Joe in there, right? But what I want you to get, this is a patriotic American thing. That's what's at stake right here.
See, now he slipped the Trump line in there, and y'all know me. I'm not on any side of any Americans' drama. I'm on the side of the murder hornets and the honeybees and the ecosystem and the natural process. I'm not on the Trump side, not against the Trump side. I'm just saying, don't let that affect your intellect. Do not let it affect common sense, reason, history, and the reality that everybody in that crowd is actually standing up for you. All right. The people in behind the stormtroopers are not standing up for you. I'm not against I'm not against Joe, and I'm not against Joe. I had to change my word, change my ways. It's not allowed on Facebook. You go against community standards and violations for saying things that adults say. They're trying to down talk our speech. We sound like children. After a while, you got to have tinker toys when you come online, but that's a whole nother discussion. It's related, but it's a whole nother discussion. These people are standing up for your freedoms. I don't think that they get it, but that's okay. They're going in the right direction.
That's what we have. That's what's at stake. And so the question is, you got a steady paycheck coming in, but how many people right here, pardon my language, are getting fucked right now? How many people are getting fucked right now? And you guys are supporting that. You're endorsing that. By being here today and by pushing people back with those batons, you're endorsing that. You're saying, you know what? I'm okay with that.
Let me clarify something. I'm seeing some comments. Yeah, no, I'm not against Joe and I'm not for Joe. Not against Trump and I'm not for Trump. You know why? Because there's a sniper on the roof and there's military-like police preparing to beat down a crowd full of people who just have grievances for their government. I know whether Joe gets in, the police state is going to march on. Whether Joe doesn't get in, the police state's going to march on. If Trump gets in, the police state will march on. If Trump doesn't get in, the police state will march on. No matter who's in office, pedophilia will still be a core model of the United States of American government, because it has nothing to do with the United States of America's government. It has to do with kings and lords and people who claim they own the land. Taking us back to the quote from earlier, right? When the creator of your uncivilized society claims it owns the land and all the creatures born within, claims the powers of God to claim the power over babies at birth, to force them to go do things called jobs, forced labor, because they feel they own the creatures. And it doesn't really matter who the president is. It doesn't matter who's in Congress. It doesn't matter who's in Senate. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the core concept of that land feeling that it owns you and your children. That should bother people, right? Because like the stormtroopers, the reason why they're there is they want a paycheck. That's the only reason why they're there. The only reason doctors lie to you on social media because they want a paycheck. The ones who don't want to lie to you, they're risking their paycheck. They're risking their licenses, and they're thrown off of social media, right? So that's why I don't have a side in it. I don't have a side in it. I know some abuse is in public and some abuse is in private. I think, but some abuse is in public, but the vast majority is in private. It's the system that has to come down, people. It is the whole system. That's why I don't take any sides. I have no sides in any of it. The system is wrong at the core principle of that Rousseau quote, which is, if you can find people simple enough to agree that the people who came before you own the land and they own you and they own the honeybees and they own the murder wasps and they own your children and own you, they can do anything to you. My push is always for freedom. And no sides are going to get us there. My push is for liberty. No sides are going to get us there. So I'm not for nor against, right? I understand if I were born with what Biden was born with and the place he was and abused by who he was, I'd be him. If I were born to Trump and I was born with that belief system, with that DNA and that warrior genes and whoever abused me and mama not around, I'd be him too. And I would try to be the best him I'm being. Our problem is the system. It's like Mike Tyson, right? Yeah, we look at Mike Tyson and we could not like Mike Tyson, but you know what? Tyson he is a machine. He's a machine that we made. He was born a child. Children are like white sheets of paper. As soon as they're born, they don't have any coding. We give them all their coding. They're just born here and they're just like, that's why kids got these big old eyes. That's why I love kids. They got these big old eyes. They just take it all in. They ain't got nothing to say. They ain't like me. They won't run their mouth for 2 hours on the internet each morning. They got these big old eyes and they're just trying to take it in. Who should I be? What should I do? What am I going to write on this sheet of paper? Do I need to fight people or do I need to be a collective? Do I need to be a Mike Tyson? Do I need to learn to punch? Do I need to fight? Are people trying to abuse me? Do I have an uncle that's going to screw me? Do I have blah, 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 blah? Like, kids are born empty, right? Do I need to go be military police to make money, to keep everybody under control? Because I believe in this concept that human beings are owned, not that a God owns them, but that systems and governments own them. We manufacture broken people. So that's my point. I'm like I said, I'm not debating anybody or nothing in that. I think, to me, that's all a waste of time. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of, is my energy helping in a way that I think we need help? And I try best I can, and I mess up. I don't always get it right. I try. In fact, probably most of the times I mess up. But I at my core, I think about my energy. Am I deploying my energy the right way? As an example, I'm gonna take y'all to the garden because that's where I've been. I love being in that damn garden. But I gotta come here every now and again because there's silly people out there. I want to use my energy in a way that's most efficient. Once again, I was in a good conversation with my son this week and we're talking about efficiency. I like to be efficient. If I can be efficient, I want to be efficient. So I'm not tilling my garden this year. The only thing I'm tilling up is where I need to put the potatoes in. I'm putting perennials in. Why am I putting perennials in? Because they break up the ground. They help to create an ecosystem. They keep it going 365 days of the year. They're feeding the microbiology, which is feeding the worms, and the worms are squirming around and breaking up the soil. Everything in nature has its place and its part and its job to do, from mosquitoes to murder hornets to everything else. We don't. I like efficiency, right? And I need to be efficient. Damn it, I might be running around with Tony Smith in the future. I don't have time for gardening and growing. The logistics are the key to any conflict that you're in. And we've been in a conflict from the beginning. These people have been coming after our kids. They've been coming after us. They come after our freedom. They come after our rights. Damn it, we might need some food that grows itself. And food grows itself, literally grows itself. So my interest, like, I look at the time and I try to figure out what should I be doing based on what I see coming and how to be most efficient. And that's why I like permaculture. I like food forests. The food needs to grow itself. It doesn't have time for me to be out there tilling every year, right? Because you get a great production the first year. I want a great production for the next 60 years. I want a great production for the next 600 years when I'm not even here. Right. And if you get your soil right, you get your garden right, it takes care of itself. So the logistics are taken care of, so you can go do what you need to do. I might be running around Tony Smith. Damn it, we might be fighting zombies. I might be on zombie patrol, right? So I don't have time for tilling the earth and killing off pests in the garden, right? There are no garden pests. If you are stupid and you're growing crops in a bad way and sound ground that you keep tilling and spraying glyphosate on and voting and cheering for a government that's spraying pesticides in the ground and out them damn airplanes that's killing off the ecosystem, then yeah, gardening is hard. Farming is almost impossible. Right? But when you have a government that isn't subsidizing your own death and your own inefficiency, you know, helping the ecosystems, life gets a lot easier. So I just believe in efficiency. So I try to put my energy, and that was the whole point of that, is I try to put my energy in places where I can see they need to be as efficient as possible for the future. And so that's why it's, you know, fighting Trump and yelling for Trump and fighting Biden and yelling for Biden. It's not there. Democrats and Republicans, they're within the system. Nations don't really even exist anymore. They're more of an entertainment system the billionaires deploy for us to keep us entertained. I think of voting, I think of class. You know how you had a class president? Y'all remember we had class presidents? When you voted, and the first time you voted, you're like, yes, my friend William's going to be the class president. Everything's going to change now. I enjoy it. I watch people, and they want to get you into 2020, discussions and debates and all that stuff. I just sit back. I'm like, nah, y'all, I think I ain't done this before. It takes me a while. I'm not the fastest ship in the fleet. I'm not the brightest light in the fixture. But after a while, I'll figure it out. So we get William. He's class president. Everything's going to change now. This homework thing has got to stop. I'm sick of this. It's ridiculous. Once William is the president, that teacher will never do this to us again. That principal will be free. And I guess probably about the 4th or 5th grade, you start to realize that the presidents don't actually have the power. That there's always someone above them, that's how these power systems stay. That's how you have a Department of Education. That's how you have all these various systems and levels of power and control. So I don't really worry about the whole nation president stuff no more. I've voted most of my life, and I finally realized that there's a teacher that limits how much juice we're going to get as a snack break before lunch. There's a teacher that's called the shots. And above they may call it the Rothschilds, call it the Rockefellers, call it central banks, call it big pharma, call it chemical industries, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. And above that, there are powerful people who own those corporations and holding companies. Above that, I don't know, you might have banks and 12 families or 200 families. I don't know. Above that, you might have Illuminatis and aliens and all the other stuff that people go into. But what I do know is not paying enough attention to know that sitting in class, I realized that William ain't gonna stop this woman from giving us homework. William ain't gonna end this slavery. We made William the class president. He couldn't stop none of it. If you put your president in and the police state keep getting rolled out, they keep taking your rights, they keep taking your liberty, they're putting snipers on top of the building, then obviously those president things don't have as much power as you think they do. right? Because in my mind state, and when it comes to that, is that if I actually were a president of the United States and I had the power and I had Homeland Security and the FBI and a CIA and a FEMA, and I had all these trained, educated people to take care of my people, and there were people that loved me enough to vote for me and put me in office, and I look at this picture, I got a major problem, right? If I were Donald Trump, if I were Barack Obama, if I were Bill Clinton or George Bush, and I look at this picture, I'd have a major problem. I'd see all my people and people who believed in me and elected me and wanted me to do things for them. And yet there's a governor in some state somewhere that's got armed, educated, highly equipped men ready to abuse my people, who also put a sniper on top of the damn building. I got a problem. I got a major problem. But see, that's how my mind works. That's how my mind works. I was going to try to see if I can get a little picture of that sniper. So anyway, here's my point. When it comes to energy, I'm going to put my energy, oh, there you go. There go the sniper. I'm going to put my energy in places I think they're highly efficient. Right? If I were the president, I'd be putting my energy to make sure ain't nobody killing my people, lining up to kill my people, drag them through the streets, put them in prisons, or shoot them down in the street like Chris Gardner's or Lavoy Fennecombs. There would be no Wacos and Ruby Ridges, right? I'd say, oh no, we got to fix that. I wouldn't be worried about firing Fauci. I'd be firing the system that created the Faucis. I'd be destroying the foul system of a for-profit, forced, unmedical system that creates them. Right? What's the point in yelling and screaming about the cuckoo virus? Is a bioweapon, and we got bioweapons labs all over this planet, and we are literally making things that could bring our extinction one day. I just believe in the efficiency of energy, right? And then they say it's all for our protection. That's right, Jack. Right? So they say it's all for our protection. We have a sniper on top of a building we own, all for our protection. We've got strong, weightlifting young men and women with pepper spray and sticks. Did you see the pose that they were standing, Jack? Let me show you this pose. The pose that these guys were standing in. These guys, and they mean business, right? They've got their training, and they're young people though. They are young people, which is why they're not the problem. See how they're all standing? Can y'all see that? Right? That's the pose, the stance, it's your training. This is how you deal with your populace. The way my mind works, once again, is if you need to train people and give them equipment to stand that way to deal with your people, you're not part of the people. No system that's a part of you does that. Why do they do that? Because they wrote laws that you don't like. This is why I say legislation and law is the opposite of freedom. They did things that the populace doesn't want, and they're forcing the populace to take it, even though that they say they work for the populace. You can't have a military-industrial complex in a nation full of people who want peace. You can't have a mass incarceration industry in a nation where people agree with the laws. If the people agree with the laws, they wouldn't need the sticks. They wouldn't need the pepper spray. They wouldn't need the equipment. They wouldn't need trauma plates, shields. They wouldn't need snipers. They're writing laws they know you don't agree with, and they're forcing you to keep those laws. And that's why it's not a political party thing. They all agree with it. But I listened to his speech. Just imagine you're in this crowd. You're one of the dragoons right there, and you're listening to this young man explain to you that you don't have a soul.
Patriotic American thing. That's what's at stake right here.
They have jobs.
That's what we have. That's what's at stake. And so the question is, you got a steady paycheck coming in, but how many people right here, pardon my language, are getting fucked right now? And you guys are supporting that. You're endorsing that. By being here today and by pushing people back with those batons, you're endorsing that. You're saying, you know what? I'm okay with that. The guy up there with the creepy voice and the slick back hair that wants to give $125 billion to illegal immigrants, I'm all right with that. I'm all right with the fact that he pulled the permits on anybody that could protest out here. We were only here an hour, and you guys were already starting to draw a line. And I get it. You guys are just doing your jobs. But your job right now is to do a gut check. Your job right now is to say, is this ethical and moral? And if it's immoral and it's unethical, you don't follow that order.
You hear what he said? He said, your job right now is to do a gut check. Your job is always to do a gut check. Your job, whether you are a doctor, a nurse, a scientist, a banker, a fast food worker, a military police, or a military person, or government, legislation, your job is to always do a gut check. Your job is always to look at your job and say, is this what I should be doing? Does this violate the sole contract I have with my species? Does this violate what I'm supposed to be doing based in the faith that I profess? Does this violate other people who are obviously being abused because they don't have the equipment? It's not a fair fight. And whistleblow. I think that's the great thing about right now with all the whistleblowers in every single industry and every department of government we have right now. They're all pretty much saying the same thing. The ones that get kicked off of social media anyway. And the problem is power. The problem is power. They claim that they own you. They claim they have power over you. And they all whistleblow because they're all doing gut checks on a regular basis. And they're finally saying, no, we can't be spraying pesticide. No. You know, and who was that? Elaine Ingham. She's one of my favorites. She used to work for Monsanto, which is why she's one of my favorite teachers when it comes to gardening. Right? You got the people with the free energy. You got the whistleblowers with the FBI and the CIA. You got the whistleblowers with NASA. So I think it is your obligation to be a whistleblower when there is something to blow. that would go the wrong way. We're not gonna go down that path. It is your obligation to be a whistleblower when you see something isn't right. Right. Above your job description, your first job description, let's say it this way, it's given to you at birth. Your first job description is given to you at birth. That's your number one job. Your obligations to the ecosystem and all the creatures within. You can have a whole bunch of jobs after that. You can have a whole lot of other things that you do, but you don't ever violate the core basis of abusing people. All right. Good morning. Standing in line at the vet in TJ. Oh, okay. Good morning, Patricia. Tell them effing chemtrail pilots to do a gut check. Absolutely. We got a lot of gut checks we got to do. If you're flying an airplane and you know you're spraying something out on people that those people didn't consent to, you can't do it. We all have a Hippocratic oath. We all took a Hippocratic oath at birth to be here, right? If you're doing something, if you're creating these grow systems for profit, and you know that these grow systems actually can be utilized to feed people all over the planet, you don't just have to whistleblow and say, hey, this corporation's evil. You can say, no, but we got the technology to feed people. And that's kind of part where I'm at with automation and robotics, why I'm not in the industry anymore. It's because we're not helping people, we're helping corporations. We're not freeing people with technology, we're more enslaving them to it. And so that was my act as a whistleblower, was to lead. And I do what I can to tell people that, yeah, we can feed the whole world. We can build houses for everybody. We're just choosing not to. Because these people claim that they own the lands. And you're a patriot to these people because your mind is simple enough to believe that these people have your best interests in mind, and they don't. The whole crowd agreeing with that Marine, real truth in mind. Absolutely, and the crowd agreed, but you know what, in the end, Jack, did you watch the whole thing?
It's not constitutional. I talked to my master sergeant that I haven't talked to in about 10 years yesterday. And this guy was an 0311. Okay, he did 2 tours in Desert Steel, Desert Storm. All right, and this is one of the most ethical guys that I've ever met in my life. And if he was a law enforcement officer, he wouldn't be standing up with a baton in his hand right now. He'd be standing up to the people that were telling him to stand up with a baton in his hand right now.
Amen. They can all call in sick at the next rally. They can all call in sick.
What would it look like if you guys all called in sick the next time they try to get you to do this? What would it look like if you stood up with the Sacramento PD? I'm texting a Sacramento police officer right now who's tying the chain, and they're like, we're not taking anybody they arrest. So your own comrades are telling you that something doesn't pass the sniff test. Something doesn't pass the sniff test. And gentlemen, if the Geneva Convention says that I can't kill somebody or shoot somebody with a weapon, that is sticking up for their rights and their religious freedoms, I think the Constitution of the United States says the same thing.
How about if the Geneva Convention says that you can't buy hollow point bullets for your citizens? How about that? How about we make it a little simpler? Because you got all these departments that bought the hollow point millions. What is it? They bought something like 2 or 3 hollow point bullets for every American citizen. From the IRS to Homeland Security, everyone. And they were banned by the Geneva Convention. So we don't use hollow point weapons, hollow point bullets for terrorists. But all the departments in this thing you call a government has hollow point bullets, enough to fight a war against the people. That should tell you an awful lot. And they say, oh yeah, but the government was doing it to dry up the supply, to stop the gun owners. And I'm just like, well, yeah, governments do that, huh? Governments actually do that. They buy bullets that can use to hold back their population, and they don't use. The kings have bought swords from China that had that razor blade katana-like sharpness to not use against the people. They did it so that the people wouldn't buy it to keep the other people safe. That's why history is important. If you know history, then you know what the future looks like.
I kind of think the sense of that somewhere. So I would just encourage you to think about that, as nobody up here is maintaining their social distance. That's so interesting to me, right? Nobody is. It's like fascinating right now. We're going to pray for you guys tonight. We're going to pray for your families, okay? And we're going to pray that God kind of nudges your shoulder and says, you know what? This is bullshit, and this is wrong. This is wrong. Right? The fruits of the Spirit, Galatians 5:32 says that joy, kindness, peace, and love are the fruits of the Spirit. And so I want you to do a gut check right now. Are you representing joy?
You see this? I have to stop. I have to stop a little bit. Because you know what? I saw this portion of it, and I actually thought that was a grown adult in a wheelchair. That's a child, man. That is somebody's baby in a wheelchair at a rally and protest. And he's witnessing and watching military-style police stopping a crowd of peaceful, happy people who are trying to petition their government for help. And he's seeing them putting armed men and a sniper between the people. This is how you make a Mike Tyson, people. This is how you make a Mike Tyson. Ooh, this is how you make a John Sean. Some of y'all still fighting and fussing with him and the people in these militias, and they believe in violent revolution. I don't believe in those things. I understand the gripe that they have. I understand where their pain comes from. I understand where they want freedom. They don't like oppression. And most people are cheering to use the oppressors to fix problems with freedom. This is how you make it. But I wouldn't get dressed. I wouldn't get dressed. If I showed up in the equipment room, said, who we fighting? I need to look in that window. I need to look on the monitor, and I need to see a bunch of Russians or Chinese or some invaders coming in the country with guns and bombs. I need to see that I'm defending the weak. If I see I'm defending the weak, I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to put them knee pads on with the trauma plate, get my baton, a gun, and get out there and fight for 4 people. I believe in fighting for the underdog. I believe in taking care of people who don't have what I have and need my assistance. I would not be getting dressed, nor would I stand in. And I don't know why they walked away. Somebody said the shift ended. But I got the feeling, whether the shift ended or not, they listened to what this man said and they realized that you're on the wrong side. There are times you got to tell your manager no. There are times you got to tell your governor no. In corporate America, we called it managing your manager. And for us there to try to relate it to police and police chiefs and lieutenants talking with governors and sheriffs or whatever, or your government, we called it managing the manager. And the problem we saw in corporate America is a lot of managers were just dumb as the day is long. They're good people, stupid as hell. Great people, highly educated, PhD, LMNOP, bachelor degree up the wazoo, just clueless about software engineering, how things actually work in a corporate environment, how things actually work doing root cause analysis, solving problems, and delivering deliverables for clients. So we call it managing the manager. There were times we had to tell them no. There are times we had to tell them in other nice ways, you're stupid, we're not going to listen to you. We're going to go direction. There are times that we let him fall flat on his face. Why? Because then there were educating moments. But you got to manage your manager or you're going to make a tyrant. It's like raising a child. You have to treat your government like it's a child. Sometimes you got to treat your boss like he's a child or she's a child. You have to educate them. You need to get them to fall on their face. You can't always listen to what they say. If you always follow orders, then you're a slave. If you always follow orders, then you're no different than the kids that are dropping bombs on the kids in other countries for resources, right? You can't always follow the orders. You know, I had to stop right there. But watch it, and you can see him thinning.
By standing up and Gavin Newsom's orders, right? Because the federal government.
Otto, let me see you with your sign.
Okay.
There's Otto.
Proceeds Gavin Newsom. I don't know if you gentlemen.
I apologize. That's a little girl in a wheelchair. That's not a little boy in a wheelchair. It's a little girl in a wheelchair.
Saw the order that attorneys. Now we're getting 6 feet of distance, maybe. Because you got us to the street, but I'm going to call it a win anyways. I'm going to call it a win anyways. USA! 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 USA!
And yes, and that kid was injured by vaccines. Which is another thing that you're not allowed to say on the internet. Apparently, well, no, you can say that now. That changed, right? So now they wasn't that Dell Bigtree's last lawsuit? The last lawsuit that they did. Well, the first one did that they can no longer say that vaccines don't cause autism because they have no evidence, they have no facts, nothing scientific that says that. But I think the next one says what was the next lawsuit? It was more generic. It was something about, yeah, they can't say that vaccines are safe and effective or something like that. The latest lawsuit from last week. I've been paying attention because I've been in the garden. I kind of get this. I'm going to put the temporary comments back up. So I'm going to do comments and I want to run. Oh, I got to show you one more thing. Dealing with the Hornets and the murder Hornets, right? Right after, one fear starts to decline, they got to make another because that's just how it works. When people start to grow up and they're no longer being scared by their government to take their rights, they bring the next false flag that's coming. So in walks the murder Hornets. 2 days I disappeared, and that's the thing now. I don't know who I left in charge of the classroom. I didn't leave nobody in charge of the classroom. I'm not in charge of the classroom. And this is me right here. This is that show Naked and Afraid. I don't know if y'all remember that show. If y'all watch it, I told you you should watch it. It's a great show. That's me. For what Tony Smith just said and what was in that kid's hand. If you're a doctor and a nurse, you need to stop talking behind the scenes. You need to start talking in person. You need to start standing up. You need to check your nads, check your balls, whatever they say, check it. Make sure you got a pair. You're not a coward as a woman or coward as a man, and start saying things that are truthful. The very truthful doctors and the honest ones, the ones who have an oath to the Hippocratics, not the hypocrite, wherever that came from, are the ones being blocked and thrown off of social media. They're the ones who are speaking up, and they're seeing the kids that are being injured by these things. But here's the deal. This is my deal. Rebecca's laughing already. This is my deal. Oh no, not me. Not me. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not a pro-vaxxer. I'm an anti-stupid technology. If it's not efficient, you can't prove it didn't work. It's obviously an experiment, and the corporations who make it, they told you that they're going to stop making them unless you took away all liability. And then you had a government that said, okay, you're no longer liable for your product. You can sell anything that you want to sell, and we'll make the taxpayer pay for the damages and create the vaccine injury fund. I'll go to nature. Give me my stick. Give me my stick. I'm ready to go. We're going now, today, tomorrow. What time? 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock? Take these clothes. It'll be naked and afraid. Give me my stick. You can take these clothes. These are slave clothes anyway. Give me my stick and my rock and my flint, and I'm going to go make some fires, and I will live free, or you going to take me out because you ain't putting nothing in me. That's just not going to happen. I'm not interested in your religion. Your religion is good for you. I'm fine with your religion being with you. Your religion is not coming in me. It's not going to happen. This is not going to happen. You believe in it, and I'm happy for you. You can have labs and scientists and work out whatever synthetic things you want that are anti-nature. I am not letting you put your drugs in me. You've been doing it to children. They're young and defenseless. They can't fight back and they don't know any better. I'm too old for it. I ain't a coward. All right, it's not coming over here. I will go in the jungle at any day and time. I will give up all this nonsense and I will be much happier. Not in the first week or two, because if you ever watch Naked and Afraid, the answers are the first thing that come for you. You get naked, oh, the fleas and flies and mosquitoes and ants, they eat the hell out of you, but the next day you make a bed. You're sleeping above the ground. Now, some of the bugs can't get you, and the snakes won't crawl up and get warmth with you at nighttime. But the spiders will get you. Then you make yourself your little hut, make yourself a cabin, get your fire, mosquito net, you build a roof. I'll go do that any day of the week, but I will not live it. This is why I get off the bus. That's why I told people. This is why I get off the bus. When y'all decide that you were full-blown slaves and enslaved to the people who claim that they own the land, that they can do anything they want to you, and put that pharmacia, which is against my religion, up in me. All the synthetic crafted creations of man, hell to the no. I'll go back to nature. I'll go back to eating in a minute. Yes. Fly to the Amazon. Yeah, Christine, anywhere, but I'll never be a slave. I'll live free, but I'll never be a slave. Let me see, no mandatory vaccines. Well, they're a crime, Daniel. Not only is it a crime? Anything that you have to force is wrong. Anything that you have to advertise is wrong. Things that actually work spread by word of mouth. I got this and it worked. Whoa, you should get one too. You don't need an advertisement. Anything they advertise repeatedly is obviously a lie. If they have to do it as an industry model, then I don't think any of it works. I have no interest in any of it. You know, other people want to do it, they can go do it. But if you have to force it, that's sin. That's a violation. You can't force your religion on other people just because you believe it, right? That's why I'm saying, like, all of this stuff is belief. They're belief systems. I'm not against them. I just think you need to practice your little pharmacia thing at the pharmacy temple, at the church hospital. That's what I see when I drive by them. They're just big temples and churches and mosques. You got your sacraments that you're doing and your rituals because you believe in certain things. Well, I don't believe in those things. I believe in the ecosystem. Right? I don't wash my hands before I eat pizza. I wash my hands before I pick up my tools because I don't want to get my tools dirty. But my body needs the bacteria. My body needs the flora, the fauna, the mosquito bite, the viruses, the bacteria. It needs all of that. I'm a natural creature. I'm a part of nature. I'm not a part of your experiment. Your experiment of making a synthetic human in a sterile environment and raising little kids in city apartments and not letting them go outside. No. If I raise kids, they're gonna be human. I lock my kids out the house. You can ask them, they tell you, oh no, daddy, he locked us out the house. Daddy thought that we were city kids and we were indoors too much playing the games. He said that when he was a kid, he didn't have laptop computers and simulated games and virtual reality, that he had something called a Game Boy with dots on the screen. He had head-to-head football with little dots as the football players. So we didn't want to stay inside. We had to go outside and get our functions, our procedures, our viruses, our things to make our bodies work right. And so Dad locked us out the house. That's why I know it, because I'm not raising monsters. I'm not going to raise a monster. I'll raise a kid. I will not raise a monster. If as long as I live, I'm going to live free and I'm going to live natural. I get off the bus when you want to make a synthetic species of human. I'm not interested in that. They won that. Vaccines don't have immunity from scrutiny anymore. Okay, that's what it was, Tony. So you can post it online. That's what it was? Okay. I followed it loosely, which is a good thing. You know, so now maybe, does that mean we can have science being practiced on social media where you actually have peer-reviewed data and information and discourse to figure out where the science is at this time, knowing that it's never really settled because there's so much technology that we haven't developed yet and things we don't understand. It's an ever-evolving thing. That would be nice because they like to use that word. Oh, they like to say, oh, trust the science. And that's not science, that's just advertised. Happened in New York State last fall. The constituent changed her vote at the very last moment, absolutely infuriating. You know she was bought. Okay, Desiree, you must be replying to somebody else. In Belgium now, children can't go to school already without vaccines. And keep them kids home, Christine. Keep them home, keep them home, keep them home. Yeah, if your children have to take a product by those who claim they own the land, then you either gotta live, you leave, but you don't consent. So I think that's one of the things I regret the most in my life, Christine, is when my boys were young, is they got their shots like they were dogs. They had a shot record, and now I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't do it again. If I had kids now, I'd be 100% a homeschooler. If I had to live naked in a bush behind the governor's house, we'd live naked in a bush behind the governor's house. What is the name of that movie, somebody? I've been waiting to watch this movie. The movie where the father is raising like 5 or 6 kids all by himself, and they live natural. They got a garden, and then he takes them to I guess, meet synthetic people, and they figure out what sugar is and ice cream is. What is the name of that movie? I need to watch that movie, by the way. I've been looking for it, but I forgot the name of it. Even the religions call themselves doctors. Well, you know what? And Tony, to me, it's all the same thing. It's all faith-based. It's all faith-based. We really don't know half of what we think we know. We like to pretend we know things that we don't. They're all religions. These from a science or religion perspective, or even spirituality. Everything is done on faith, and all your faith is for you. That's an awesome thing for you. Don't put that in anybody else. It's abuse. It's a sin. It's crime when you try to do it to somebody else. So I'm fine with all the religions. I'm fine with all the religions, but you need to keep them to yourself. Tony Smith says, I ain't living naked. And now you know he cussed because that's Tony Smith. He probably had a few cuss words in that he filtered for us because he appreciates. Tony Smith, you don't have to, bro. You don't have to. That's up to you. I would if I could. I like vitamin D. Vitamin D3, it boosts your immune system. It allows you to deal with all the things in the water and the air and the soil. If you got that vitamin D3 that's introduced from that big sun thing through your skin, and you ain't gotta live naked. You ain't got to be totally naked though. I mean, Tony, if you trust the science on that, that's not subtle, you could have like a loincloth or something. You don't have to be totally. You just need to open up your skin solar panels to more of the sun. Don't walk around with a hat and long sleeve shirts and jeans. You got to show more of your skin to the sun. What's that thing they call? Is that a loincloth? What's the thing that they have where you take your PPE thing and you put it in the little tube thing and they tie it up? What's the name of that thing? A penis sheath. Yes, that's right. You can get a penis sheath. And I'm going to stop there before that conversation goes down that direction. But you don't have to be naked. You can cover up your parts. You just have to have more solar energy hitting your skin. That's all. This is a great show, Naked and Afraid. I think it's a great example of what it's like to be born in America. You're born with something, with nothing, and you got to abuse everything to get something. You could be born with everything. You could be born with all kind of things that you need to survive because you're a child born on this planet, and the adults that came before you loved you enough to make sure that you got everything you need. But instead, no, not in Hunger Games, Hate Planet, debt-based banker world. They make you born naked. You need to go out there and kill and murder something to get you some clothes. You need parents that are stealing jobs from other people to make them poor, to push them to the bottom, to give you the things that you need. It's definitely an analogy to being born in a Rothschild bank nation. It certainly is. Too late, G. This group doesn't need much of our imagination to take off. Oh, this is true. This is very true. They just run with it. They'll go. They got it go. Yes, vitamin D3, more like a hormone. I'm so happy it's this time of the year when we can get more of it. Yes, Brett Carey. I'm about to end this now. Get me out there in the sun. Take off this shirt and get some vitamin D3 because you never know what's next. Like we think it's the murder hornet that's coming next. It might not be the murder hornet. They might have a new real bioweapon. It could have been a bioweapon they were saving up, or it could be the one that Fauci made. They said he made at Fort Detrick with the whistleblower that went to Wuhan for millions of dollars. But once again, you can take Fauci out. It's not going to change anything. You can take the drug dealer out. If you don't take out the drug game, if you don't end the war on drugs, it's going to be pointless. A new drug dealer is going to, you can get rid of Fauci all you want. Don't let him get too much of your attention, because the system that created him is still there, and there are a line of Faucis to come right behind him. We fail at problem solving because we don't like to solve the problems at the root level. All right. They're coming to take you away. Yeah, John, I'm ready to go, John. I'm ready to go whenever they are. I don't have any fear, John. I got these cojones things, and I'm not a coward. Any day they want, they can come get me. They know where I live. Like I try to tell people, there are no secrets on the internet. That's why every post I make, John knows, is all public. I don't have anything that's friends only or private, because the really dangerous people, they see it all. The real dangerous people are not the hackers. The real dangerous people aren't the people who are creating Facebook profiles. They're the people who tell Facebook what it does. And they got all the information. They know where I live, John. They know everything I post, and they know exactly what I'm going to do when they get here. So, you know, they can come get me anytime they want, John. I'm ready to go. Who said that, Wanda? I'm ready to go. Whenever I'm ready to go. I've seen what they've done to children. I've seen what they did to Mike Tyson. I saw what they did to Lavoy Finicum. I see what they do to these poor kids in the ghetto. I see what they do to the poor kids in the barrio. I see what they do to the poor kids in Yemen. And I see what they want to do to the next generation. So if it's my time, John, I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to give it my best. But I'm not going to let anybody be confused. You don't have a slave in this one. You do not have a slave mind in this one. You have a barbarian over here. You have a barbarian, and when you show up and you think you got yourself a slave, you're going to get a little bit of an education. And he ain't worried if you win. That's not, I really don't care. You know, I don't expect to win. In fact, I'm not going to take on. These people got dragoons and stormtroopers that got sticks and pepper spray and mace, gorilla suits and trauma plates to deal with little girls in wheelchairs that have signs that say I was harmed by vaccines. Okay? They got all of that. My expectation isn't to win. I believe in fighting a good fight. I'm just going to fight the good fight. And the good fight is you show up at my door and you think that I'm a slave. It's my job to show you I'm a barbarian. It's my job to show you whatever this God thing is that I serve, it's of the highest order. And just because a man showed up at the land and claimed he owned it, that does not mean he owns me. I was born here, but I don't belong to you. Whoa, what's that G about to do, a strip show? No. Outside the garden, no. Our neighbors in the garden, no. Both fine. No, nobody needs to see that. No. No, I believe in my neighbor's right to not see my butt cheeks. I believe in their right. They got rights too. They don't need to see no ashy old man walking around. They don't need to see none of that. No, I believe in my neighbor's rights. When I settle down in my naked nudist garden where I can be out in the Garden of Eden, do what Adam and Eve did before all that sin stuff came about and people decide it's a better idea to have governments than gods and everything. Oh no, it's going to be big high fences and forsythia and bamboo and other things that people, they won't be abused by me. I don't believe in abusing other people. I know. No. That's not going to happen. Fight like a sheep, and that it, David Lowe. Fight like a sheep, because sheep don't fight. They just, don't let me find my bad. I'll find the bad. Because that's what they do. They just sit there, government say something like, okay, It's like, no, I'm not the one. I'm not a Roman. I'm not a Babylonian. I'm just someone saying, hey, y'all, we can build a better world. Let's build a better world. Or I'll just give me a stick, take these clothes. I'm going to go find me a spot in the jungle. I'll be live agrarian lifestyle, or go ahead and send me to the next dimension. But you will never get a slave in me. You will never get the sheep out of me. That's not going to happen. They know what you're going to do before you do. Absolutely, Rebecca. Well, they got the predictive analysis software. What Rebecca Costello is talking about. She's talking about quiet weapons for silent wars. I read that, Rebecca. It ruined my day. It ruined my day. Because I actually understood the document when they started talking about supercomputers and all collecting data, that you had Wall Street tycoons and billionaires who wanted to not own and predict the stocks, but own and predict the entire markets and scarcity and starvation, right? The stuff that George Soros does, where he's not even allowed into certain countries because he day trades them. Kind of like Bill Gates, how he's not allowed in certain countries because he maimed hundreds of thousands of people with his solutions. When I started looking at that, I was like, yep, predictive analysis software. I use that. I use that in corporate America, Rebecca. The suite I use was called Intuitive, right? You take in gigabytes of data and it looks for patterns, right? It does pattern matching. It's software. It thinks faster than we do. And it literally looks at where Jack Hall goes, what he does, who he talks to, when he does that, when he talks to it, when he goes to Burger King, what he orders, when he goes to the grocery store, what he buys, when he's upset, what's happening. And it does predictive analysis. And it knows, well, today is, what is today, Monday at 12:30. The next thing Jack is going to do, he's going to go out and get him some seeds, or he's going to get him a pack of cigarettes. He's going to go get a bagel. He must be getting hungry because the percentages and chances that he does this after he did this and posted that and did more happy face posts than sad face posts and said this out loud, and Alexa heard it and Google heard it. This is exactly what it's going to do. They have predictive analysis software because they want to predict what the human race does at every turn. They literally want to predict the future, right? And so, yeah, quiet weapons for silent wars. That's a great wake-up document. Their hands are full. Their hands are full to know what we'll do. Well, they are, Jack, if we're smart. If we're smart. So why I do a lot of weird things. I'll search for crazy stuff on the internet, and they probably still predicting what I'm gonna do. I'll say crazy stuff. I'll change my words. We have to change probably how we communicate. I do random stuff. I never really take the same path to slavery. I'll go a different way. I like the back roads. I'll do things, and it doesn't stop them. It just increases the standard deviation of predicting what Gerard will do, right? Like they got that porn profile on people, so every now and then I'll go out and search bears having naked sex with giraffes. I'll do stuff like that. You know, what is that? What created the cuckoo virus? They said it was bats and snakes. Oh yeah, bat, snake. What's that thing when you whip people? When they whip each other, get them excited. I'd search for weird stuff. They're like, this dude is crazy. This dude is crazy. We don't need to predict him. He nuts. But they got all the algorithms. Algorithms and AI make controlling the underclass easier. Yes, Rebecca. And they know. And that's Lori did a great video this weekend that went through the document that talked about all of this was planned. They had a timeline, right? This was all planned out. And they literally have a timeline. Let me go find Lori's thing real quick. She did a great video. I forgot the name of it. I think I posted. Yeah, I posted it on the other page. They've been planning, and they have a timeline. They literally know what people are going to do and how they're going to do it and how they'll respond if a pandemic was released and if it went on this channel and if it happened at this time. They know how people respond, and there's a standard deviation. They're not going to always get it right. Oh yeah, by the way, pray for India. People are starving in their homes. That is important. This is my other page. Hang on. I think I posted Lori's thing. She did a great video. She did a fantastic video this weekend talking about, actually, she gave us the link, didn't she? I posted the link. No, I didn't post the link? All right. She did it. And this is important too. Y'all see this? This was one of the lawyers. Remember I told you the lawsuits are coming? What they did was not legal at all. You cannot piss off 100,000 law firms and expect them to be okay. This was the scientific study. I'm gonna take you to a point in Lori's thing where she's showing you the timeline. Where is it at? I should have stopped and got the timeline. She did a great video. Lori's live streaming now. If you don't follow Lori Root Riley, please do. Here it goes right there. There goes the timeline. Hold on.
The important technological advancements will be in the future. The scenario narratives point to areas where conditions may enable or accelerate the development of certain kinds of technologies. Thus, for each scenario, we offer a sense of the context for technological innovation, taking into consideration the pace, geography, and key creators. We also suggest a few technology trends and applications that could flourish in each scenario. Technological innovation in lockstep is largely driven by government and is focused on issues of national security health, and safety. Most technological improvements are created by and for developed countries, shaped by governments' dual desire to control and to monitor their citizens. In states with poor governance, large-scale projects that fail to progress abound. Shout out to the states that aren't in lockdown. I think it's all the Midwest. Don't we call those the Midwest states? That their governors have enough sense not to close their economy. Sphere repeat.
Here's a timeline. So she went through the timeline. And it was quite amazing. I forgot the name of the document. It's the scenarios for the future technologies and international development. This is why I always go back to technology. I can tell you about the things that I know and the things I've worked with. They've been planning everything since the beginning of the human race was about control. Right? Everything since lords and kings realized that there were people simple enough to agree that they own the land to do what they say. Everything after that was about controlling the human race. And technology can either be utilized to free the human race or it will be utilized to enslave the human race. But there are no other options. It's the only two options. You're not going to stop automation. You're not going to stop robotics. You're not going to stop humans becoming cyborgs and joining with their technology, because every generation wants to do it more. Our only options are utilize technology for the people or against the people. And so this is one of the examples of them doing that, right? That is them utilizing and talking about how the human race will respond if this happens and this happens and this scenario, and playing it out. And this is what leans me towards the fact that, you know what, it is very possible that AI is running everything. It's very possible. And the funny thing is all this stuff is documented, which is why who just said it? Patricia said just down there, just say no, I do not consent. I say it every day, Patricia, because this world was built on consent. And there's a higher power that allows a lot of this to happen because we do consent to it. This is one of the good examples where they have to publish it. They literally publish what they're going to do to you, when and how, and we got to be okay with it. Yeah, and some states are opening. I guess it's the red states. I don't know. My interest is look at the root problem. The problem isn't that we're on lockdown. The problem is we have people who claim that they own us and they own the land. Sandra, that was the name of the book. It wasn't a book. It's a printable. It's a PDF. Scenarios for Future Technology and International Development. It was a good post by Lori Root Riley. You should go watch her video. Go to her channel, subscribe, and click get notified when she does a video. That's what we need, more people who aren't cowards. We need more people standing up, and she's one who's standing up. If I show up at your doctor, I'll bring a six-pack. Well, John knows I don't actually have a doctor. I gave up on that witchcraft a long time ago. If I need one, if I'm in a car accident, I need them. But the medical system, who was it? Was it Dr. Shiva who said it, or Dr. Buttar? I forgot. Anyway, said America, the modern medical industry is a triage-based medicine, right? Like it's designed for helping people who've basically been at war, right? Triage. And these people are at war. They're at war with their own bodies and their own health. They literally collude with the medical system and the chemical companies that are poisoning their bodies, right? So they're at war. I don't have a doctor because I stopped being at war with my body, John. I stopped colluding with the chemical industries and the food companies and the agribusiness industries and the government that were poisoning me. I started living natural. I stopped washing my hands. I started just eating pizza with my filthy, dirty hands. I went back to living as I was when I was a kid. And I don't need a doctor anymore. The think tanks may know what the masses will do. They do, Jack, and none of those think tanks are thinking anything good for us. I think I need a pretty large piece of property to live the way I want to. First off, I do not want to be able to really hear my neighbors at all, alone and able to see them. So there's that. Yeah, well, Citizen Deb, I do. Everybody wants property. And the neat thing about it is there's plenty of land to go around. There's plenty of land. It's just we don't have people who claim to own it that want to share with us. The people who claim to own the land, they're not interested in sharing the land, right? So my screen is messing up, and that's a good sign for it's time for me to go anyway. Every human being born on this planet should have land. If the government cared for you, they wouldn't be working on a cure. They'd be trying to figure out a way to make chickens cheaper. They'd be trying to figure out a way to get your seeds and get your land. They'd be trying to figure out a way to get everybody 40 acres and a mule, and it wouldn't take a whole lot of trying because they have the land. They just don't want to share because they don't actually own the land. Your government is actually a pawn and a puppet for greater powers. My liberal friends were so terrified of the militant protesters in Michigan, but do you think they would be appalled at these militant governments standing in open armor against innocent, peaceful men, women, and children? Well, unfortunately, Trish, I think when those labels are applied, they're kind of like cults, and they kind of go along with certain things, and they give you a certain level of apathy. So you're scared of people in your own country with guns, but you're okay with your government sending tanks and drones and murder hornets, the real murder hornets, to your country, right? And so they're okay with this. They're scared of the poor people protesting that show up at gun rallies, but they're okay sending mass murder weapons to other nations. Because as long as it's not them, they're okay with it. You know, and the right kind of has their own apathy too. It's all sides. But they literally take our souls and get us to march for satanic, uneven things. But in all ways, most people give up their oaths to succeed in a psychopathic, monster creating world. But yeah, I'd like that land too, Citizen Dev. That's kind of my goal. I'll push as much as I can push. I'll say as much as I can say. But eventually, I'm a trot on off to my own episode of Naked and Afraid. I just need the land to do it on. I just don't consent to any of this. I want the whole world to burn, the entire model to burn up. I don't consent to forced labor, so that's why I'm not out there protesting. I don't think slavery should be restarted, but I don't think people should be locked in their homes. People are starving and dying in their homes. They want to kill the mystery. Shame, Key is talking about. Yeah, the algorithm knows our more even when it's kind of wacky. Is why and how the mass media and TV and internet and cell use makes people susceptible by programmable and then exactly predictable. Citizen Deb, yes, and that's what Facebook was doing, and they got caught doing it, showing people certain posts, engaging your response if you were smiling or if you were sad, to see if they could modify your behavior and mood. Which is why it's also interesting to me, Citizen Deb, because they say it, they get called conspiracy theorists, and then a real world event happens proving that what they said wasn't a conspiracy theory. But then people keep moving on the topic. They keep moving on. They keep trusting those who are obviously working towards these documents of what have been online for decades. I don't understand why people use tech that has to build into its addiction. Do they think they're immune? Kia Whitmore, I think that at our core, we are cyborgs, right? We create technology and we've always merged with it, right? From the inventor of the wheel. The wheel was technology. If it makes your life easier, people will always go along with it. That's why I don't fight technology. I think we are destined to merge with our technology. The question is whether or not we keep our freedom as humans as we do it. Whether or not these smartphones will be used to control us, whether or not the chips and the chunks and the RFID stuff, which I don't think you'll ever stop. You'll either merge with it from a consent perspective, or it'll be forced on you because you won't be able to make any sort of income to live on their planet because they think it's theirs unless you take that chip, that piece of technology. So we always have been merging with our technology. You'll never get smartphones out of people's hands. That's how I know everybody eventually will get some sort of RFID chip or chunk or whatever. The question is whether or not you're allowed to remain free when you want it. Maybe not me, maybe not you, but the next generation always. It's just how this thing always goes. Technology is unstoppable. You can only modify it to be utilized for people. Those are our only options that I can see. All right. I can't even, let me see. I think that's it. I think we wrapped up. I don't know what happened to the comments. I apologize. We'll figure out. Maybe Facebook made some changes. Maybe it'll work the next day. I don't know. This is just how it goes. You never know what's going to happen. That's the benefit of live streaming, is you just never really know what's going to happen. Just things keep shifting. Smartphones probably going to go soon. Yep, I'm sure they got the new thing coming, Patricia, where they'll consume smartphones and they'll sync that up with 5G, and they'll sync that up with, how smartphones replaced the radio, the television, the Betamax and the VHS and all of that all got consolidated. I'm sure the very next technology will replace the smartphone, and maybe to like microwave things with the microwave, maybe to be 5G, 4G, 7G, I don't know. Maybe to cook your food, maybe to kill you, maybe to control you. I don't know. But whatever it is, whatever's coming down the line, I know DARPA thinks it's a bad idea. DARPA doesn't like it. They're trying to warn people that we shouldn't be making kill technology on a planet where there's always something trying to kill us anyway. Great point, Gerard. Some are, but many of the people who are protesting aren't really there to end the system. They are protesting to keep their secure place in it. Ooh, gone. Let's not overly judge either side. Exactly. You have truthers, researchers on both sides, those who are protesting and those who aren't. Yeah, and they're all right, Brett. They're all right. That's why I don't choose sides. Brett, I'm the most annoying person on the internet. I don't choose anybody's sides. I think they're all right. They all have very valid points. But their solutions are always given to them by the people who claim that they own the land and own us, which is why their solutions never work. So I don't have an interest in protesting for restarting slavery. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that is a bad idea. But the other side's right about like taking care of people and looking out for them, everybody having houses and universal basic income. But they're wrong about the idea of getting universal basic income for doing a guaranteed job, which is slavery. And on every plantation, you had guaranteed jobs. On every plantation, you had universal health care, right? So both sides have just enough of the truth to take intellectuals in, to bring researchers in where it's enough that they'll take their passions and apply it to a side, but we don't actually have to be on a side. That's what I don't get. I don't get that part, Brett, is why anybody wants to be on the side. Be on your own side. Bofon can be on his own side. Mandy can be on her own side. Mark can be on his own side. Brett's on her own. Jonathan. Why does anybody got to be on a side? We're all on a side called humanity in the ecosystem anyway, where we're all being poisoned and all dying. So why do we need to pick an apathetic team from within the owner's control? I think that's crazy. Open source, and I'm fine with it. That's it, Mark, and that's because you worked in IT. You understand open source. When we got open source, we're free and we're good to go. It's all political theater. Even a lot of the whistleblowers are contrived. Absolutely, Bofon, because it works, right? If you can do something that will get a blind following, then it's going to be controlled. And then this is why I say you just can't follow anything blindly. I'm not worried about the whole Dr. Shiva Buttar fighting thing, and the left fighting the right, and Americans fighting the Chinese, and all of the nonsense. To me, it's just a theater. It's all a theater. If it develops a blind following, the system, the simulation, the AI will rule it. If it's popular, it's already being controlled. If it's true, it's going to get deleted from the internet. So I just kind of fall back in that perspective. I enjoy the show. I'm going to grow some food. I'm going to come back, watch the Americans out there jogging in bioweapon hazard gear. And just enjoy the show. No, packled okra. Oh my God, that's horrible, Bofont. Why would you do that to somebody? It's the system. That's the issue, Brett. And that's the fight the system. How's it go? Oh goodness, so many sayings. Rage against the machine, not the actual cogs in the machine, right? You take out the cog, you take out a lever, you take out an actuator, the machine is still rolling. Rage against the machine. Fight the power, not the powerful. They get everybody to fight the powerful. They're fighting Trump. They're fighting Biden. They're fighting the left. They're fighting the right. They're fighting very powerful things, but it's not the actual power. It's not the architects, the ones who actually own and created the system and thrive on it. Absolutely. Hate the player, not the game. Right? Why do they do that? Why? Because if you hate the player, you'll go date another player, and that keeps the play going. Hate the game, ignore the players. The players literally don't matter. The players don't matter. If you go to a bad play and the play sucks, then the play sucks, right? Why are you gonna be mad at the one actor or this actor, that actor? They didn't actually write the play. And that's the thing. Everything has got to be fight the power or you're wasting everybody's time. Ain't nobody got time to waste. I think we're here to do something for the next generation. So as long as we're divide-upable, Mark just said divide and conquer games. As long as we're dividable, it's a useless battle. It's a useless battle. That's why I can't be on the team. All right. Woo, just be outside the system. That's it, Christine. You don't actually have to be in the system. There's no requirement that you be a slave. There's no requirement that you put shackles on and join a team or a cult. There's no reason. You can have your own religion. I believe in 7 billion different religions, 7 billion different faiths, 7 billion different free people doing free things, and nobody owns anything. No power. We don't have to worry about fighting the power because we give them the power. We consent to it, and they beat us over the head and abuse us with it. Fight the principalities. That's it, Rebecca. Fight the principles. Last comment. Just fight the principles. Ignore the people, ignore the players, ignore the actors, ignore the powerful, and look at the principles. Do you have a right to strap up gear and go to a crowd full of innocent people protesting in wheelchairs with little girls and boys who were abused by a system? Does it make sense to put on that gear and go beat somebody over the head? Absolutely not. At a principle level, doesn't matter who the people are. This is Gerard. I gotta go. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all to death. Free the people. I'm out. This is Pat Riley taking us out. Bye-bye.
Make modern slavery stop.